Hello and welcome to Ask GMBN Tech, where you've used hashtag Ask GMBN Tech down in the comments of any of our videos, and we can pick up those questions and answer them in a show like this. And today, Richard, we are here in Finale, which seems like the perfect place to have a tyre insert special because it is rocky AF.
Yes, it's a wild place. So first question, let's dive straight in. We've got Ask GMBN Tech. Would it be possible to ride with absolutely no air pressure, just inserts? Well, short answer we're going to go with is yes, you can. I have sadly done it on many occasions, even in this very location, but I'm going to warn you, it's not good for your wheels and or tyres slip. You're going to risk damaging wheels. Obviously, a tyre with air in it does act as a buffer, gives you grip. Tyre's going to squirm around, it protects the rim, snake bites. It's a get out of jail free card, so it can be done, but certainly ain't advised.
No, and also it wouldn't be fun to corner on a tyre that's deflated, even if you have inserts. Okay, question number 2 from Shredder Dave says, if downhill World Cup riders aren't using tyre inserts, does that mean they're marketing BS and pointless?
Good question.
You know, they're not going to be for everyone, and what I will say is downhill World Cup riders are absolutely finely tuned machines that are really honed into their bike, and they will have specific needs or desires and preferences, and tyre inserts can give you a bit of a ramp up feel. If you blow through all of your air, you might even touch the tyre inserts and then feel a bit of a pushback. So if you think a downhill World Cup rider who might want a particular feel out of their tyres, they might even want a sort of a linear feel from their air, they might not want that ramp up, they might not want the inconsistency of feeling a tyre insert in the middle of their run. So I would say, just because they don't necessarily like it, and some are running them for sure, then it doesn't mean they're pointless. I've certainly ridden to the bottom of a track thanks to a tyre insert. And yeah, so they are, there is a reason. And frankly, I wouldn't tune my Ford Mondeo the same way that Lewis Hamilton tunes his F1 car. And so there are different reasons that you might want them, and there might be reasons why you don't.
Right, next Ask GMBN Tech question is from Xavier, and he says, can you evaluate the value of DIY tyre inserts, such as pipe insulation, versus legit ones off the shelf? I'm unsure as to whether spending the cash on them is worth it. Right, great question. First of all, DIY one, something like a pool noodle or insulation foam, will kind of work, but the foam is going to be very soft. So if you hit it hard enough, you're probably not going to get much protection from that point of view. Also, the foam that's used can be quite absorbent. So if you're running it obviously in a tubeless tyre, which you obviously are, you're going to absorb all that liquid latex that's sloshing around in there. So puncture protection is going to be lower as well. Legit ones, well, they're made to shape, obviously. They are also not just sort of impact protection, but the shape of them as well can actually help hold the tyre in place. Something like a Cushy core is shaped, so it's quite a low profile, but if you do get a puncture, it's going to hold the bead of the tyre in place as well. So in short, homemade inserts do kind of work, and obviously if you are a bit strapped for cash, a perfectly good way of trying to reduce punctures. If you can afford, obviously, a legit insert, it's worth it too.
Okay, my next question is from Calzor Suze, who says, I'm going to add some inserts to my wheels soon for an Alps trip in a few months. I usually run 19 PSI front and 21 rear. Do I run the same pressure or look to go lower to compensate for the insert? I mean, technically, no, you don't have to go lower to compensate from the insert. So let's explain. Pressure or air pressure, say you're using PSI, is pounds per square inch, and it is literally pressure. That is how much force you can apply to a tyre and before you get that kind of resistance. So when you add a tyre insert, it might change the volume, but it won't change the pressure that you feel on your tyre. So the short answer is run what you usually run, because that's how it will feel, and run what is best for you, your tyre and the terrain. So you're going to the Alps, you might want to run a little bit more, but however, a lot of people, when they put tyre inserts in, they feel a lot more safer in terms of rim protection, that they can actually run a little lower and know that if they go too far, maybe they hit something too fast or too hard, that they have that tyre in there to protect them. I would say my advice, because that seems a little bit like it depends, my advice is to go to the Alps and take it easy on the first first day, use your usual tyre pressure and just see how it feels. And if you're going to drop it, then drop it by 1 or 2 psi just to test the water first.
Right, next Ask GMBN Tech question is, can inserts be too big? And the short answer is yes. If an insert takes up the entire volume of the tyre, it's not going to mould and conform to the ground as it should be to get the most grip out of it. Manufacturers will put sort of tyre sizing recommendations on their different size liners and inserts so that you can match up the best pairing, essentially, right? So therefore, have a look what the sort of size guide is and go from there.
Okay, my final question here is from Jan Henriot. I hope I pronounced that right. He says, a friend of mine told me his mechanic passed his bike in tubeless with inserts but no sealant. I am still running tubes and not willing to pass tubeless for the messy attention sealant requires, but what my friend's mechanic did seems brilliant. Anna, what is your opinion on that? Well, yeah, there are some tubeless tyres that do tend to go up really well without sealant because some of them are quite thick. Definitely enduro and downhill tyres I've put up before and they will go out without sealant. Not all tyres will do that. Certainly XC can be a little bit thinner and they might need the sealant to fill in those like imperfections and those holes even fresh out of the factory. However, it is possible to run a tyre without sealant if it goes up, and then you could put a tyre insert in there as well. But the tyre insert will be helping you with snake bites or pinch punches, but it won't help you with any punches that you may get from debris or thorns or anything like that. So if you do get those punctures, your tyre will deflate and the sealant won't be there to seal up the hole. However, if you hate sealant so much that you would sooner take the tyre off, pull the liner out and put a tube in instead, if you get those punctures, then fair enough. Then do what works for you. It's just that it might not work out how you expect it. But try it. Let me know how it goes. Let me know. Tell me. Ask GMBN Tech and tell me how it goes. But that's all we've got time for.
Yeah.
Ricardo. Thank you.
It's been an Italian pleasure, Anna.
And if you've got any burning questions that you're thinking of right now, head to the comments and use hashtag Ask GMBN Tech.
What?